Every day in our state and all across the nation, a terrible and heartbreaking crime is being committed. Vulnerable young people are thrown, drawn, and coerced into a cycle of abuse, terror, and endless sexual degradation. The specter of human trafficking is all too real and is nothing short of a modern slavery of the most vile kind. Traffickers seek out the hurting, lonely, and abused.
Anybody I've ever trusted in my life has hurt me, including my mother, my father, that guy that was creeping in my bedroom when I was 4. Like, all these people who I trusted with my life have hurt me. When I was being trafficked, I had no idea that's what was happening to me. I actually blamed it all on myself. I put myself in this situation. I'm just this terrible person, drug addict, mom, and I deserve this stuff. And that I didn't know is what the traffickers want and try to make us believe, because then they have control. Then they have like the psychological control over us.
Really, essentially, a lot of this is, they're a very vulnerable population. The runaways, the missings that are in our towns, our cities, out on the streets. And these pimps and traffickers, they target them. And so they're already vulnerable to begin with. Maybe have a history of sexual abuse, maybe don't have very good parents, don't have anybody that cares for them, and they have nowhere to go. It's not like the movie Taken, where a van pulls up and you're kidnapped. It's a slow process, a slow recruitment process. But these guys are specifically targeting this vulnerable population.
It was dark. It was really dark. I believe the world is dark. The women believe the world is dark.
Judge Paul Herbert sits on the Franklin County Municipal Court.
96% of all juvenile prostitutes are runaways, and they're running away from something. People think human trafficking is all the way over here. We have this real small population, maybe not even in Ohio, of these foreign-born girls that are kidnapped, drugged up, and sold for sex. And we've got this other dichotomous relationship with this prostitute who, like the movie Pretty Woman, is engaged in this voluntarily. It's something that she chooses, and that's not true at all. We developed a human trafficking assessment tool. We got some help from the Polaris Project out of Washington, D.C., which is a think tank. We pieced together some of their information. We started giving every woman charged with prostitution this human trafficking assessment tool. And the numbers are staggering when you compare that to the law. We found that over 92% of every woman arrested for prostitution actually falls within the definition of being a human trafficking victim.
The Ohio State University's Moritz College of Law is developing strategies to help trafficking victims.
People have had sort of a mind shift to say, we shouldn't be criminalizing these women. We should be going after the people who are purchasing, and we should be going after the people who are overall making the profits and doing the selling. And so now that we are thinking about it in that way, we can look at the women who are the ones that we see and offer them supportive services in order to help them out of that type of life and help empower them to make choices for their lives that are going to be more positive. Most of our caseload is older teenagers, 16, 17, but we have clients as young as 13. There is a human trafficking task force in Columbus that is excellent and is really devoted to helping victims rather than criminalizing them and punishing them.
The number one thing that our task force we always try to work victim-centered cases. So what that essentially means is that everything is for the victim. If we just do a sting and we get the victim out and we attach them to services through our victim advocate, to us that's a success. Would we like to have a backside criminal investigation to that? Absolutely. But our number one goal is to get the victim out of the situation, try to get them the things that they have not had.
And then once we are able to identify them as a potential victim of human trafficking, they are eligible for what's called safe harbor under Ohio law. It's a new law that was passed a couple of years ago to allow victims to obtain supportive services rather than being punished and criminalized in the juvenile court system.
These new partnerships and strategies are designed to give victims the tools to rebuild their own lives.
They want to do well, they want to get out of this lifestyle, they can't stand it. They do more on probation than they're asked to do. A lot of our women are in college, they're being reunited with their families. They are getting jobs, they're going to school, paying taxes. They volunteer throughout the community. They go into women's prisons to conduct meetings and tell them about human trafficking.
I didn't go through that and get where I'm at today to not help someone else go through that. There's no way that I'm sitting here today knowing what I know, gone through what I've gone through, and to not reach back and help someone else. So any chance that I can, if they want to listen, they want help, I'm down.
I love to see the kids be able to think positive things about themselves again.
That's what justice ought to be about.
Just to see someone go from the dark to the light, there's nothing more fulfilling than that.